just in terms of the usage of technology and potentially artificial intelligence in the near future, how do you think that can alleviate and solve some of these legacy issues that's inherent in the system today? More specifically to mental wellness.
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think the healthcare industry has struggled with how to best utilize the advances in artificial intelligence, specifically in healthcare, for a number of years now, where it feels like we're starting to see it crop up in other industries. Like, what does that mean for healthcare? I've seen all sorts of creative ways to try to do that in mental wellness. I think the most, from the most mundane to the really exciting, but I think maybe, still be a few years out in terms of that being widely adopted, which is actually replacing human therapy with AI. So if you could imagine saying, instead of having, many telemedicine solutions today for mental health, say, I'll connect you at home with a therapist to have talk therapy as it would have existed, 10 or 20 years ago, but do that over video instead of in person. So that's, I think, the most basic advancement. But if you think about the opportunity for AI in that, I've seen a company even a couple of months ago that is saying, you don't need a human in the loop at all. Like, what if we could build AI that could say, you could say, I'm going to start my telemedicine visit, and instead of meeting with another human, you're just talking to AI, and they're prompting the next questions. They're helping you surface things within yourself, just like a therapist would. But that whole talk therapy session could be done with AI and not with a human in the loop. I think we're still a few years away from that working well, and there are a lot of risks associated to that, and not having a licensed therapist on the other side, and not, maybe not getting it right in terms of the way that they respond. But I think that's a super interesting area that we'll, continue to see more companies tackling, and hopefully over the coming years, we'll find a way to have AI, even if not replace the human therapist, be able to augment them and reduce the burden that is currently placed on therapists today.
Yeah, I mean, it'll certainly eliminate cost. I can imagine.
Yeah.
Or
just make it, and I think, we talk a lot about automating work, and I don't see this as one where, therapists will be out of a job because AI will become therapists. Absolutely not. I think the idea that AI could augment the existing therapists and say, maybe between, you have sessions in person with someone or over telemedicine, once a week, but, for your therapist, it may be helpful to say, like, actually, you should be documenting these thoughts and thinking about how you're feeling and saying that out loud, because the verbal awareness can be so important every day or, twice a week. So maybe between sessions, instead of relying on me to always be the one, coaxing these things out of you, like, talk to this AI, and we can, then review the what you said and what you shared between sessions in our next session. So I think just giving, more access, more continuous access at a lower cost would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense. It's almost like this daily maintenance of making sure that that you're documenting and thinking about about these thoughts that you're having.